It's Friday, December 5th, and you're watching the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by FanDuel. I'm your host, Jason Cooper, alongside my producer for the next hour and a bit, Jacob Germania, behind the board. And we have a great show for you today. Before we get into things, do us a huge favor, smash the like button. It goes a long way here on the channel. I usually ask this at the end of the show, but if you're watching on Twitter, come jump over to YouTube quickly and click that like button. Double check if you're subscribed. We're trying to climb our way to 4,500 subscribers. And a lot of people might think you're subscribed, but you're not. So just come over to YouTube. You can watch on Twitter normally. It's fine. Just double check you're subscribed. Click that button. It takes 2 seconds.
Watch on YouTube.
Well, if they want to watch on Twitter, I understand.
You get the live chat here. You get to interact in real time.
Listen, if the chat hasn't convinced them now, I don't know if it ever will. But our chat is bumping. If that's your choice, if that's your medium of choice, it's okay. But just do us a favor. Double check that you're subscribed, because it really does mean a lot for us here on the channel. And then also just like the video while you're here as well. Like I said, great show today. We're flipping things up. George usually starts bats leadoff on this Friday, but no. We've got Andrew Gombas coming on. Going to talk some UFC 323. It's a how do I describe it? It's not a mini card, but it's like 2 flyweight fights, 2 bantamweight fights on the 4 or 5 fights under 135. That is a pack and a punch little guy fights. So it should be an interesting one. I'm excited to talk about it though, because there are some really good fights in those divisions. Brandon Moreno, Tatsuro Taira should be a fun one. Merab and Petr Yan. If you remember, we talked about Merab almost 2 months ago. He fought in October, and it's December. He's fighting on 2 months. It's crazy how active and good his cardio is, because he's coming back in. He's fighting again, 2-month layoff. And he's a minus 500 favorite. So, one of the most dominant fighters we've ever seen in quite a while, in Merab fighting Petr Yan, which should be a fun fight. And then after that, Austin Mock coming on. Going to talk some college football. I think I see a misprice in the awards market that I really want to talk about. I'm excited to get into. And it has nothing to do with the Heisman. We'll see if I'm right about that. We'll talk to Austin about that. And of course,
your Heisman take was a banger for sure on Pavia. So this one's going to be good.
Here's the best part about futures. That's not how CLV works. Just because the line has moved, it's not considered CLV. There's just information out there in the market that I didn't have at the time, and that's fine. But again, Pavia could still lose. We're acting like he has a great chance to win. It's plus 165 right now. There's a lot of stuff that can happen. There's still a game to be played. Until that game is played, we won't know what the result is until December 13th comes. Maybe we should do a live Heisman watch along. That could be a little interesting. Until December 13th hits, we won't be able to know who the winner is. But I'm going to be excited and looking forward to it. Anyways, talk to him about the Heisman. Talk to him about some other mispriced awards. Talk to him about Penn State. I don't know if you guys saw the leaked audio from Pat Kraft. Some interesting stuff. I thought it was fake on Twitter. I got duped by a fake tweet by him. But this audio seems real. This leaked audio seems like he was going off. And I don't know if it makes you respect him more, makes you more worried as a Penn State fan. Going to talk to Austin because he is a Penn State fan. So should be interesting to get all that information. And then, of course, George will come on. We'll talk some Underdog Parlay. We'll talk a quick hit on Survivor just for those who are still in the mix here. And, got a great show.
Sounds good to me.
Great show. You really don't like my Heisman takes, eh? What's wrong with
this? This moved heavily against you after you were preaching about it in the office. That's all.
Yeah, I'm still preaching about it now. Oh, well, listen, we'll see what.
We'll see. Market disagreed, but
market disagreed.
We'll see if the voters disagree. Maybe we can ask one of the. Well, we can't directly ask, but we can maybe get one of the voters to hint at what's going on.
Yeah, well, I think he'd have a good take of the general sentiment of the voters. It feels like maybe he doesn't. I don't know. There's 700 people. You're trying to.
I'm sure he's not in tune with the rest of the voters.
Yeah,
maybe some of them.
I feel like he'll be an outlier, but again, maybe I'm just thinking too hard about an award that's voted on by 700 people who self-admittedly don't watch the games apparently. So maybe that's the gap in
Hey, that's the handicap. You have to handicap who the voters are. It's not just handicapping the player who deserves it the most or the best player, handicapping who's voting on it.
It's tough to handicap these markets, and it's tough to handicap almost any market, it feels like, because I personally don't really handicap much. I just use BetStamp Pro when I bet. So with football in full swing and basketball back on the board, now's the time to lock in a BetStamp Pro account. You like is that a good little
Yeah, it's good.
segue?
It's good.
For those of us who can't handicap,
Those who can't use BetStamp Pro.
There you go. Pro is built for high-level bettors who need to spot and scale up edges fast. Between NFL Sundays, college football Saturdays, and daily NBA action, prop markets are more liquid and prices are sharper than ever, so the window to exploit inefficient numbers is right now. You can't do that without a hyper-efficient, reliable true line that shows you the real market price in seconds across 150-plus outs, helping you find and hit scalable edges. Don't wait. The opportunity to capitalize on the prop market is right now. Visit betstamp.com/hammer or scan the QR code to apply for a demo. Spots are limited during the season. All right. I thought that was a good segue. Maybe not.
That was good.
All right. You're like, where are you going with this for a second?
So BetStamp Pro had your futures bet on here?
No, it didn't. It didn't. It
just straight ball knowledge.
No, that was me trying to say that I'm obviously not very good at handicapping this market apparently. So the best way I can attack things is one, using BetStamp Pro, or two, talking to really smart people on this show who know a lot more than me. And the next guy definitely knows a lot more than me about the UFC. I'm a casual. I close my eyes and I fire darts on some parlays for UFC Saturdays just for some fun action. I'm not afraid to admit I'm a long-term loser on UFC, but I'm excited to talk to him because this is a pretty fun card here. We got Andrew Gombas coming on. He's a pro sports bettor. He's an MMA originator. Andrew, how's it going?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Good. I'm happy to have you back. Excited to talk about the card today. It's funny because I believe the last time we talked, it was also for a Merab fight, and it's like, wait, I'm like thinking to myself, like, how long ago was this? I'm like, oh, it was only 2 months ago. Like, the activity of this guy is like certifiably insane. Like, when have we ever seen a guy go 5 rounds and then turn around and come back and be like, yeah, I'm ready to fight in like less than 2 months?
Yeah, it's very unusual for a champ to do that. So it's definitely got to tip your cap to him for that because, a lot of champs want to fight once or twice a year. He's been in there over and over and over. And, he's not a spring chicken anymore either. So doing that weight cut, 4 times a year is not easy.
Yeah, kudos to him. And, let's just dive right into this fight here because Merab taking on Petr Yan. Started off as Merab was already a heavy favorite to start. He was like minus 400, but we've seen it move out towards him, almost minus 500. Now taking a lot of steam since the opener. Again, we haven't seen anyone come close to match Merab's pace in terms of wrestling and in terms just pace of fighting. It's going to be tough for Yan to keep up. I once thought Yan might have been one of the best fighters in this division many, many moons ago, but since then, it doesn't seem like Yan's sort of been on the downturn. His only real path it feels like is knocking him out maybe and utilizing his striking here. How do you see this fight shaping up, Merab versus Petr Yan?
Yeah, it's an interesting rematch because the first fight, Yan was a 2-1 favorite going into it, and Merab, just completely dominated him. And there were talks of Yan potentially being injured in that fight, or maybe he had an off night, whatever. But Merab still brings a lot of advantages here. I understand why he's a big favorite. I personally, I expect Merab to win. I do think the line's probably a tad wide just because Yan is such a well-rounded elite fighter. And, I mentioned earlier, Merab doing this weight cut yet again. He's getting up there in age. I expect his pace and takedowns to be too much again, but I do think you have to give some, like, a little bit more respect to Yan than the plus 350, plus 325 here, just because, like I said, he is such a skilled fighter in all aspects of MMA. I expect it to be an action-packed fight. Merab fights typically, do go late. I do think the over is probably a little overvalued here as well, like minus 400 for a 5-round fight. Like, you almost never see that in MMA, and I feel like that's a little high as well, but I do expect Merab to get it done. His pace, his pressure, just ridiculous, unprecedented, and he's a pound for pound great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the over right now on FanDuel, over 4.5 is minus 4. It's crazy. It feels like a lot, especially considering I know Merab tends to wear people out with his like pace, but he doesn't really get those finishes. But there's got to be like a certain tipping point here where maybe we've gone too far in terms of hey, Merab can still finish guys, or again, Petr Yan could catch him. We don't know, but it seems like it's going to be Merab's fight in terms of the odds. Next we have Alexander Pantoja versus Josh Van, which I want to talk about here. Pantoja is around a minus 240-ish favorite. Where do you feel like is the largest skill gap in this fight? And what do you see as Joshua Van's path to victory as an underdog here, if there is one that you see?
Yeah, the largest skill gap in this fight would be pure jiu-jitsu. Pantoja is one of the best back takers in the sport. And, Van's doesn't seem clueless grappling, but we've seen Pantoja submit some really, really good grapplers. So in my opinion, that's the biggest gap here. Van does have a path to victory, though. He's the better striker here. He's got youth on his side. He's got power on his side. Pantoja throws himself into a fire a little bit. He sprints the entire fight, so him, gassing late isn't totally out of the question. I think the most likely outcome is I think Pantoja submits him. I think that is the most likely outcome here. I personally lean towards the doesn't go distance at like minus 150. I feel like this fight finishes inside like more like 7 out of 10 because both guys have, I give finishing upside here. Pantoja on the mat, Van on the feet. And although Pantoja hasn't been knocked out, he's definitely been hit and he's open to being hit. His defense striking isn't really existent when he's charging forward and looking for takedowns. But I do think his grappling is going to be too much. Like we've seen him just absolutely run guys over, and I tend to think that's what he does here. But if he doesn't, then he's going to be in some trouble later in the fight, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Pantoja right now, most likely method of victory here is by submission, and then Josh Van. So like you think that maybe Van's path to victory here is like sort of a knockout potentially, or do you think that this might go the distance?
I do think that's more likely than winning a decision, just because I feel like if he's having success on the feet, like he's probably going to hurt Pantoja at times. He packs really good power for the division. He goes to the body nicely. He's an elite striker. There's no doubt about it. But I do think this one ends inside. I could go to decision, obviously, but I think more often than not, it definitely finishes inside with either a Pantoja submission or a Van knockout.
Yeah, Van knockout right now compared to him by the points. If you like Van, plus 500 on the knockout to win by points for Van. It's plus 440 at FanDuel. So maybe if you like Van to win this fight, maybe look towards more so the knockout than the decision there. A couple more fights to get into, including Brandon Moreno versus Tatsuro Taira. We got like a young Tatsuro Taira going up against like a scrappier, older Brandon Moreno, who's only 31, but still in my eyes in the UFC, it feels a little bit older. Moreno currently opened as a slight fave, and then it's steamed all the way towards Tatsuro Taira. They're like very, very close to a pick'em here. Taira minus 128 on the money line. What do you see happening in this fight here? Do you think Brandon Moreno, who's sort of like a scrappy fighter, can like outlast and outwit the younger fighter in Taira?
Yeah, it's an interesting fight because I feel like it could go a number of different ways. I tend to think it's competitive, especially over 3 rounds. If it were 5 rounds, I would favor Moreno much heavier because we saw Taira struggle in the later rounds against Royval, a guy who Moreno has defeated. Taira, obviously, big for the division, nice back takes. Moreno's the better striker here. Moreno's good everywhere. He's a competent grappler for sure. Like, he's a good offensive grappler. He's a good defensive grappler. We saw him fight really close with Pantoja, who I just touched on how elite he is as a grappler. It's tough. I think Taira probably does get 1 or 2 advantageous positions on the mat at some point, but while they're on the feet, I think Moreno is going to be winning. I also think that Moreno's pretty good at getting out of body triangles. So I expect a close fight. Gun to my head, I think Moreno's the side, though. To me, he's proven it against over and over and over against so much better competition. Taira is skilled, but he's feasted on a lot of bad grapplers in the division, and I think if anyone has like big favorite upside here, it's Moreno. So I slightly favor him here.
All right, yeah, slight dog here, depending where you're looking for Brandon Moreno, plus 104, available at FanDuel, and odds are seeming it's going to be a close. Odds are saying it's going to be a close fight with this line kind of bouncing and ping ponging back and forth between who they have as the favorite. There's an old term in wrestling I want to talk about. It's called putting someone over. If you're a WWE fan or like a pro wrestling fan, and this feels like this next fight is trying to put Peyton Talbot over. You got Henry Cejudo coming in, who's like, gosh, I don't know how old is he? 40 now. It feels like they're trying to use Henry Cejudo here, who is a plus 220 underdog, to put Peyton Talbot, feed him the old veteran, get a win for Talbot, get his name out there to put him over. So my question to you is, do you feel like this line is about correct at minus 280 on the money line right now for Peyton Talbot. And like, how do you see this younger fighter handle Henry Cejudo, is going to just kind of be like a absolute hound wrestling him? How do you see Talbot handling Cejudo's fight style?
Yeah, good matchup here because on one hand you have Talbot who's rising up the ranks. He's huge for the division. He is really, really serious power for the division. His loss in the UFC came at the hands of getting grappled, as a minus 1,000 favorite. So it's like, okay, did he learn something there? Is this a hole in his game that's going to get exposed again? On the flip side, you have Henry, who's been fighting the elite of the elite for God knows how long. He's going to be smaller here. Obviously, elite wrestling background, really, skilled competitor. He's going to be at a disadvantage striking. So, on the Talbot side, you have finishing upside, you have better striking. I think Henry's probably going to get takedowns here. It's just a matter of like how long he can control him for. I don't think Talbot's necessarily easy to control on the mat. So I can see this being a fight where Henry gets a couple takedowns but doesn't control him for long, and Talbot's winning on the feet. So I think the line's about right. Again, maybe like a hair wide. I'd probably say like Talbot minus 200 maybe in that range. But yeah, I just have to give him more upside for finishing, for being more in prime form, trajectory. But Henry is a good competitor, and it wouldn't surprise me if he's able to win this fight or make it close.
All right. Any other fights that are sort of sticking out to you on this card, whether it be on the prelims or even looking towards that final main card fight that we didn't touch on, Jan Blachowicz taking on Guskov? Like any other fights you have sort of circled or bets you like for this UFC 323 card?
Yeah, I liked McKinney at like plus 140, plus 130. It literally got steamed like as we were doing the show. It's down to a pick 'em now. But as far as viewership goes, that's must watch TV every time Terrence McKinney fights. It's almost always a first round knockout one way or the other. But I do think his explosiveness is going to cause Duncan issues here. As it's one of those things where everyone talks about McKinney's cardio, and which is a valid concern, obviously, but he sprints, and the reason why he gasses out if fights extend is because of how dangerous he is early. And I think just athletically, he's a step ahead of Duncan. We've seen Duncan get KO'd before. I think McKinney could potentially offensive grapple. Obviously, if he doesn't, he could be in deep trouble later in the fight, which is typically how his fights go. But I scooped up some plus money on him at like plus 125 or better. But again, as far as pure viewership goes, that one's going to be a can't miss.
Yeah, just looking at the odds screen right now, there's a plus 125 at a corner store right down the street from us in the office. So after this show, I'm going to run out. Hopefully it's still there. When this show's over, I'm going to go hit it. But awesome stuff. Anything in terms of, I know you mentioned you like that fight in terms of viewership, but anything else you like in terms of viewership here on this card, or any fight you're looking forward to kind of get, maybe it's a young fighter you're just looking to get more information on. It could be a fight we've already talked about, but yeah, any fight you're most looking forward to on this card.
Yeah, I'll say Grant Dawson versus Manuel Torres, because Dawson is such a stellar grappler in MMA, and Torres really dangerous striker who's never faced the caliber of grappler as Dawson. They're kind of opposites, because Dawson's an amazing grappler, but his striking is tragic for lack of a better term. So it might just take one shot from Torres, but if Dawson gets in on his hips, like he could potentially control the fight like the rest of the way. So I'm very curious to see how that one shakes out.
All right, Grant Dawson and Manuel Torres. All right. That's about it for the UFC segment. Any final thoughts? Any fights you're looking forward to, I guess, after this card? Any major fights you want to see here? Do you think this White House fight is ever going to be a thing? Or give me your outlook on the new year, the 2026 of the UFC, what you're looking forward to.
Yeah, it seems like the White House card is going to happen. I'm sure they're going to stack it like crazy. And obviously that's going to be a monumental event. Like there's never been anything like that done before. Hopefully bring some new eyes to the sport, which I'm sure it will. I think they just announced the first card, because next week is the last card of the year. And the UFC takes, a 5 or 6 week break, which is the only break they take all year. But I think they just announced that first card of next year, Gaethje versus Pimblett, which some people were upset about because there's, some other guys at the top of that division that could be fighting for an interim title. But it should be a fun fight nonetheless. And obviously, Amanda Nunes coming out of retirement, taking on Kayla Harrison, two of the best female fighters ever. And Sean O'Malley coming back. We'll see how he responds to losing to Marab against Song Yadong, who, beat Henry in his most recent fight. So should be a really good first card of the year. Obviously, it's a big part of my life, so I'm not looking forward to the break, but this is quite the way to come back.
Yeah, excited to come back here. Hopefully you can get some time off. Enjoy the time off here. This 6-week break where you can spend some time with the family over the Christmas. Andrew, appreciate you joining the show. We'll chat soon.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome stuff there from Andrew. Yeah, hope I'm like looking at the odds screen right now, and I'm seeing McKinney tick tick tick, and that 125 is still there. Jacob, maybe can you fill in for like 5 minutes while I just quickly run to the corner store to hit this? No, just kidding. But
not kidding.
You're kidding, but not kidding. Hopefully it's still there.
But my answer is no.
Yeah. All right. Before we bring on our next guest here, just want to give a quick shout out to our good friends over at FanDuel. Buckets, buzzer beaters, and your choice of rewards. That's how FanDuel does basketball season. With FanDuel, you can choose your reward, play it your way, pick what fits your game, and take control of how you bet. Take your shot with a profit boost. Play it cool with a no-sweat bet, or get a little backup with a bet back token. LeBron James last night lost his 10-plus streak. I'm sure that guy who bet $15,000 on LeBron 10-plus points at minus 2,200, 2,600, whatever it was, would have liked a bet back or a no sweat bet on that. But
we really need to acknowledge how ridiculous it is that the streak just ended yesterday, by the way.
Yeah, I know. We haven't really touched on
1,297 games. I was 7 years old when the streak started.
I didn't even know how far it went back.
Early January 2007.
Wow. Do you think? Yeah. That's crazy. We'll touch on that after this quick little ad here. Whatever fits your game. The choice is yours. That is what happens when you play on a sportsbook built for your game. However you play, FanDuel's giving you the power to choose your reward. Head over to FanDuel.com/forward progress to make your choice. FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Please play responsibly. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas and affiliates of Kansas Star Casino. 18 plus and present in DC. 19 plus and physically located in Ontario. 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration leg requirements and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit rghelp.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelpima.org or call 1-800-750-50 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In New York, call Connex Ontario 1-866-531-2600. Visit connexontario.ca. All right. The streak is crazy.
Yeah. So early, I was watching the game. I was streaming for the game because I do Raptors content on the side of this. And it was like early in the game. I mean, I'm sure he's had many early games, but it was no points first quarter. I'm like, okay, he's had some close calls this season, but he's gotten there. Then he had like either 2 or 4 points at half, and then it was starting to become like, okay, now we're really in jeopardy. And he was being aggressive. He was putting up shots, and nothing was falling for him. He had 8. And then he got blocked in like the last minute by Scotty Barnes. And I'm like, this is over. And as much as people give him credit because the last possession, he passed it to Rui when he had a shot for the win and to keep the streak going. If he had missed, at least they would have had overtime. And after the game, they asked him, how do you feel about the streak ending? Like, do you care about the streak? And he says, nope, we won. He says that he doesn't care. But, like, I think in literally the game before, he was stat padding in garbage time to get to it. So clearly he cares about it, but I don't know. How much do you think he cared? I think he cared a lot.
I think he cared a lot. I think LeBron is like low-key a generational liar.
Well, it's high-key. Everyone knows
high-key, whatever. High-key a generational liar. He's like he tries to be like the nonchalant guy, and like he obviously very much does care about this stuff. I don't.
That's perfect. That's a perfect way to describe it.
Yeah, like I don't know why he like wants people to have this public, like this squeaky clean public perception of him. Like, I don't know. He's LeBron.
I mean, he's so scrutinized under a microscope that he kind of has to be that way.
Fair. Yeah, I guess because he wants to. It seems like he wants to stay in the spotlight, not be like Michael Jordan, where you just kind of fall off the face of the earth and just go golfing for the rest of your life after you made a killing in the NBA. But is he back? He's coming back now, Michael Jordan.
No, I mean he did like the Last Dance thing. I guess.
Yeah, but that's special. He probably got a bag for that too.
Absolutely.
Anyways,
should we do guess the line before we bring up Austin?
We can do guess the line here quickly.
All right, we're gonna do guess the line. We got 3 bets. Jason's going to guess them. You have 3 guesses. I'm no longer going to do a range. It's going to be over or under your guess.
Okay, what if we do the first one is over under and then in between or outside? So if
see, that works if you're doing like passing yards, but doesn't work if you're doing assists for like a backup point guard, because then you could nail it right away. So we'll test the over under here and see how it goes today. First of all, we're going to go to Tyler Shuck passing yards for the New Orleans Saints, and they're playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tyler Shuck passing yards.
I'm going to go with 178.5.
All right, if you're in the chat, try and play along in real time. Try and guess what the line is here. See how close or how far off you are. For Jason's first guess, you need to go over that to get to his number.
I need to go over that. Tyler Shuck kind of stinks. Would he be at 194.5?
Over.
Really? Okay, so we're going to go to 211.5.
Correct answer is 217.5. So, Jason,
right.
You like the 178. You're going to love 217. You better hammer that over. So, incorrect on the first one.
Okay.
That's a tough one, though, going for passing. We're going to make another tough one here. Steven Simpson chats at 202. So, you're not wrong. You're much closer than Jason.
He beat me. Steven absolutely beat me.
Beat you for sure. Second one, we're going to go the over-under in Battle of Florida, Miami against Orlando in the NBA tonight.
Miami, Orlando. Ooh.
I'll give you a hint because you're not a...
No. Hold on. I think I can work through this. Orlando, I recently learned, is a pretty decent team.
They're both really good.
Both really good. High, what's it called? High-paced team in Miami. Relatively high total I see happening here. And I know in the NBA they can creep up into like the 240s. So I'm going to go with 238.5.
Higher.
Okay. I'm getting close there. I didn't want to go too high because then if I was wrong about that handicap, that 240 range, then I wouldn't know for sure. So I'm going to do a little bit of game theory here and go for 249.5, and hopefully we can find somewhere in between.
So yeah, now you're playing the game correctly because you're trying to find the middle, and you are under that number.
Okay.
So you have the range now.
Okay. I think it might be on the closer to 249.5 than it is to 239.5. So I'm going to go with 246.5.
241.5.
Oh,
a bit off again.
Swing
and
a
one.
miss.
But
All right,
you're in the range, which is good.
Yeah.
Chosen Sports said 227, so a little off in this one. You were close. You were close on your first guess.
Overthought it, I think.
Last one, Carnell Tate, long reception. Excuse me, Carnell Tate long reception.
20.5.
Under.
Okay. If Austin's in the background, I wonder if he's playing along with us here. I'm curious. I'm going to give him a little bit of time to think about a number, and I want you to hold on to that number, Austin. And we're going to ask you right when you come on the show here. I'm going to go with, I said 28.5. Let's go with 23.5. It's got to be in between that.
It is in between that.
Okay. Is it 24.5?
Your first guess was the closest. It was indeed 27.5. So
Okay.
you almost nailed it with your first one. You didn't even hesitate. That was pretty good.
I feel like I'm pretty good with these longest receptions because they're usually in that there's such a small range for a good receiver because they can't line it too far out or else
but
just
that was good.
Under.
And Chosen Sports in chat at 26.5. So
look at us.
You two working together could have gotten it.
He's getting one step closer to mod. You know what? Maybe all right. Let's give Chosen Sports mod power in the Hammer HQ chat because I told him I would give him mod power for the watch along, but Rob's not letting me do it. I get to control this channel. Chosen, congrats, you're the first mod on the Hammer HQ. I love it. All right, enough dilly-dallying here. Let's bring up Austin Mock. He's an NFL and college football projections over at The Athletic. You can find him on our Thursday Best Bet Show, which, by the way, he did a great job with Rob yesterday. In case you missed it, you should go check it out. Austin, how's it going?
It's going good, man. We're winding down here, but still plenty of good football left in the season. So excited for the conference championships this weekend.
All right, we'll get into all of that quickly. What did you have for Carnell Tate? The first number that popped into your head. What was it?
It would have been like 24.
Okay, we were close.
So
It
would have been in that. It is tough because if you do it too high, it's an automatic under, right? We were saying.
Yeah. So all right, a lot to talk about here. There's college football awards that we can talk about, which we've been talking about all week on this show. There's the conference championship games. We could look ahead towards the playoffs as well. But no. We're not going to start with any of that because you know what? You are a Penn State fan. And there's a lot going on in the world over at Penn State. First, we have the I don't try not to be too mean here, but like just the abysmal recruiting class you guys currently have, which is like 150th in the nation, which is a very, very shock to see. And I'm sorry if I'm being mean right now to your favorite team or to your college football team. But the bigger news was the leaked audio of Pat Kraft that came out last night, which I thought was fake. But this morning, I wake up and it seems like it's pretty real. It sounds like it's real. He's on there just talking about recruiting, talking about the problem with NIL, talking about the direction that the program's going in, how tough it is to find the right coach for this job. What is your temperature check on Penn State, one as a fan, and what did you make of this Pat Kraft leaked audio? Does it make you more of a Pat Kraft fan? Does it make you less of a fan? Give me your whole reaction to this.
Yeah, so I think like the audio is pretty like obvious of what you would expect from him. Like he's a fiery guy. We've seen that in pretty much every press conference that he's had. Anytime he's talked publicly, you can see him on the sideline at football games. He that's just like that's what his DNA. He wants to be that fiery type of athletic director. So I thought I didn't think it was anything, like nothing in there was surprising to me. It was like, hey, we're trying to figure out who the best coach is. We're trying to figure out what the best way to build a team is. You know, that was pretty, I guess, standard, like kind of like a recruiting talk, if you will. Like that's what I would expect a head coach to sound like, an AD, all of that. So wasn't too shocking. In terms of like state of the program, I'm not like one to, maybe it's just the analytical side of me, but I'm never one to like swing one way too far. Like, hey, you're probably never as good as you think you are. You're probably never as bad as you think you are. So I think they'll be fine. Obviously, you got to get the right coach in no matter what. Doesn't matter if you would have signed him on Sunday to a new contract or, a week from now. If it's not the right guy, it doesn't really matter, right? So get the right guy. Like that's all that matters at this point. I don't think it's as bad as what people are making it out to be, like the end all be all right now. Like this is the end of the program type of thing. I don't even think we're close to that yet. There's still plenty of time. Okay.
So you're not as worried. You're very level-headed, unlike some other friends that I have that are Penn State fans who, to them, the sky is falling. But yeah, like the problem is one bad recruiting class has like ripple effects on your program. You could maybe cover things through the portal. Who knows? Anyways, yeah, just wanted to get your thoughts there. Sorry if you felt like I was being a little bit mean.
Oh, you're good.
I just had to ask. All right. I want to be a little bit careful here because for those who don't know, you do vote on the Heisman. Is that the only award you vote on, or do you? Okay, so let's start with another award then, because I think there's a misprice in the awards market, and I'm not talking about the Heisman. And you can tell me if I'm crazy here. FanDuel recently posted lines for the Blitnikoff Award, which is best wide receiver in college football. They have Jeremiah Smith lined as -310. They have Mekhi Lemon at +300. To me, those two guys should be a lot closer together than they currently are. Now, of course, Jeremiah Smith still has a game to play, and that could affect the vote. It could affect the voting significantly. But at current price, do you think Mekhi Lemon might be a decent bet at +300, considering he has 1,100 yards compared to Jeremiah Smith's 900, same amount of touchdowns here? I think they're a lot closer than the odds are currently implying.
Yeah, I think this is one of those deals where you run into the issue of, like, who do you think is the best? Like, not from a number standpoint, like who is the best wide receiver in college football? So I think that's probably leaking into this price a little bit. It could be just the fact that Lemon was kind of under the radar for a lot of this season as well. So that's the concern. I think it's one of those, again, he has Jeremiah Smith has the game left as well. So like if he has a big game, I think it's probably locked up. But I think that's probably the biggest thing for me and why this price is the way it is that Jeremiah Smith is seen as the best wide receiver in the country. He plays in an offense with another good wide receiver. So like that's taken away from his numbers a little bit. Like what's his, I think that's where people want to kind of will tell themselves, voters will tell themselves like, hey, think of what his numbers could be if he had another, or if he didn't have Carnell Tate beside him taking up a lot of those catches. So that's my concern. I think one of the issues that probably hurt Lemon a little bit was just like they just weren't good enough. Like they probably needed to beat Oregon to really get him into that conversation as well. Whether that's fair or not, I don't know, but that's how this voting thing goes. So factor that in with like in that rain game against Notre Dame, like was an okay performance, but he didn't have a touchdown. It's just one of those. I feel like there's a lot of things working against Mekhi Lemon in this market. So I don't know if I would be rushing to bet Jeremiah Smith in this standpoint, but it's hard for me to see a path for Lemon as well.
All right. Chosen Sports saying they don't watch West Coast games either, so that could be a major factor. Plus,
that is true. Like that is a thing that goes on. Like it's tough, but I don't think like USC is that team.
Yeah.
People are paying attention to US. If it was like Arizona or something like a Ted McMillan from that type of receiver, I'd believe it. But I think USC had plenty of spotlight on them this year.
Yeah, for sure. I think also the biggest thing that hurt him was like he didn't even. I don't think he played the first quarter against the UCLA like in the final game of the season against UCLA in the final game of the season there, which I don't get was happening with that, but whatever. It is what it is. Lincoln, you do your thing. One rewards market to another. Heisman. We saw a ton of steam come in on Pavia this week. Plus 340, moved all the way down to plus 165, 170-ish, depending on where you look right now, 175. At FanDuel, it seems like the perception of the market is saying, hey, we don't feel like if Sayin wins, it automatically goes. If Ohio State wins, it automatically goes to Sayin here. He's going to need to have a outstanding performance for him to win. What's your sentiment in terms of how this conference championship game is going to affect the Heisman odds?
Yeah, everybody wants that Heisman moment, so I think that's one of the big things. Like, I don't even think that Sayin probably needs a like monster stat line or anything like that. I think if he goes in there and, kind of similar to Fernando Mendoza against Penn State earlier, like a minute left, they have a winning drive or something like that. I think that's something that, recency bias sticks in voters' minds. So I think that's something that I don't think that like he has to only have a huge game in that. I think it could just be, what's the high leverage, final minutes of the game. He could steal the show there. So I don't know. This is an interesting one because I was kind of surprised with the Diego Pavia like steam here recently, just because this award has tend to be, hey, who's the best quarterback on the best team type of thing. And when you have a 1 versus 2 matchup in, the Big Ten championship game, the winner of that seems just so natural to make the Heisman Trophy winner. So it's a pretty weak year overall. I think that's why you see like so much kind of this coin flip-ish between three guys heading into the final weekend here. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think Sayin has to have that big game. I think if Indiana wins, like Mendoza's pretty much like he's got it locked away just because it's Indiana. They have the story behind it from not being a storied program. So I don't think Sayin needs to have a big game. I think he just needs to have big moments. Whereas for Pavia to win, I think he really needs like a low-scoring defensive struggle to sneak in. I know he's the second favorite on FanDuel right now, but I just have a feeling that it's going to go. That game tomorrow is going to sway things quite a bit, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be like a game that's, again, obviously it's a spotlight game. It's a standalone game. It's at the perfect primetime slot of 7:30 where everyone's going to be all of college, 8 o'clock, all of college football eyes will be on that game. So it feels like it's going to be a spotlight game, and it's really just going to have to be a dud of a game for Pavia to win, and that's been kind of my position this whole time as to why I think he's not going to win the award. But again, we'll have to wait and see. Regardless, I'm just excited we get to watch more football. That's what I care about the most here. Quickly, any opinion on the I asked Brad Powers about this yesterday. I'm kind of putting you on the spot here because I didn't write this in our notes. Any opinion about the Vanderbilt trying to schedule a game here this week against either Miami or I think it was Iowa?
Yeah, so I don't even know the rules of like if it's one allowed or like if it would be within the I don't know if there's a criteria with the playoff, like they're their own thing, they're outside of the NCAA. I don't know if there's like you get like a 12 game max for the Army Navy game is not included obviously because the playoff is picked before that. So I don't know if that would like fit into that because it's not a conference championship game. Like I'd be very interested to see how that works, but that would be. I would have loved it just because of the ridiculousness of it, and just that's how college football goes. But yeah, I think I would have been for it. That would have been fun to see, and whether that is actually factored into the playoff committee and their decision process would have been fun to watch out over like this 72 hour period that we would have had to adjust to this change if they got a game scheduled.
Yeah. What just out of curiosity, let's say they were to play Miami. What would your numbers have Vandy first night? Let's
Vandy
say on
Miami.
neutral. Yeah.
I'd have Miami a short favorite in that game. I don't think they're Vandy. I've been saying it, they're a one-man show, and like maybe that's more of a reason. That's why Diego Pavia is second on FanDuel in the Heisman odds right now, right? Like, so I just don't know if they have that's such a step up in just talent in everything, and I don't know if they'd have the juice for that. So
yeah. The thing that bothers me the most about Vandy is you go to the SEC, you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the standings, and then that's like the teams that Vanderbilt has had to play this year, and they want to. Yeah.
That's why they're ranked so low. Their strength of schedule, like I always say, like don't pay attention to the strength of schedule that goes on like ESPN during the committee thing. Like they like to look at like wins and losses for these teams. Like they have not beaten anybody like good in this season. That's why they're ranked so low. That's why they're. Is it unfair? Sure. Maybe this is the push that we get to a 16-team playoff in the future, but yeah, they have not really. They haven't had that Heisman moment, right? Yeah. Like that's the issue for Pavia in the Heisman market, for my opinion, as well as their playoff hopes.
Yeah, biggest win is against a 8-4 Tennessee team that also again sort of played the bottom of the SEC. Anyways, enough about that. Let's close this out here. Any big opinions about the conference championship game this weekend? Any game that you're looking towards? Any bets that you have that are still available on the board here?
No, I tend to have a slight numbers lean towards BYU, but like I just they have such a talent. There's such a difference in talent between them and Texas Tech that it's hard to me get like they're in that dead area too of 12.5. Like if it was 14, I'd feel a lot better. But I think everything else is priced pretty appropriately. I think one thing I'll be looking at is like definitely maybe live on Ohio State. Just again, a big talent discrepancy. My numbers lean a little bit towards them, and I think they could be blowout potential as well. So that's one area that I'm looking to target as the games get underway tomorrow.
All right. Lastly, before you head out, any futures that you like? I know we talked a lot on this show about Ohio State futures. Quickly before you jump on here and give your opinion on any future you like on the board. If you like Ohio State, head over to the national championship market on FanDuel. You can get Ohio State at plus 180, but if you scroll a little bit further down, you can get them at plus 188 versus the field. Same bet, 8 cents better. Might as well take it if you're going to take Ohio State at plus 180. Anyways, Austin, I'll give you the floor here for any futures that you like.
Yeah, the two that interest me, I do think James Madison, they're plus 164 at FanDuel right now. I think they're going to be in over Duke. I didn't think there was much of a question of that before the rankings came out on Tuesday, and then they were ranked 25th. So I don't think Duke is going to jump them in the rankings. I know we don't get to see teams after the 25. Duke could very well be ranked 26, but I don't think so. You look at Georgia Tech, who's 9-3 with a loss to Georgia, and they're ranked in the 20s. I don't think a 7-5 Duke team has the resume for that. And then I'm probably not going to lay it, but I don't think Miami makes the playoff. I think minus 500 is short. I don't think that's a fair price for Miami's chances of getting in.
So you don't think there's going to be any bias towards the ACC if Duke does win, where there's no ACC representation? You don't think they might just, I don't know, pull some magic tricks, do whatever the heck they want to do, and just squeak Miami in?
Sure, they can, right? Like this is what happens. Like when I price this out and when I simulate the season and everything, I build in some human randomness into the process because you just never know what they're going to do. So they could do that. We never, like I said, we don't get to see, like they could be ranked 26th. And if they beat the Virginia's ranked 17th, I think if they beat the 17th ranked team, sure, they would jump them. But I don't think we've seen them rate the ACC this year. This is kind of like correlated with Miami here a little bit. Miami's ranked pretty low for what people expect because they beat Notre Dame. We've seen Virginia rank low. We've seen Georgia Tech rank low. Even when Georgia Tech had one loss, they were behind multiple teams. So the ACC in general is just low. I don't think Duke has the resume to get in, and they couldn't win a game outside of the ACC. They were like 1-3 or 1-3 or 1-2 in out of conference play. Lost to UConn. I don't think that team's getting in.
All right, quickly, any opinion on Notre Dame making the playoffs here? Because it seems like Brad Powers is sort of flag planted them as his as a no bet for him to miss the playoffs here.
Yeah, so I'd be opposite. I mean, I said that I think Miami's mispriced there. I think the no on Miami's value. So obviously that goes north with Notre Dame there. I think one of the things that people are like assuming because Alabama jumped them, I think that if Alabama loses, definitely if they get lose a game that's not close. I don't think I think there's a pretty good chance that they would fall back behind Notre Dame, but not fall behind Miami. I think there's a possibility of that too. So I don't think it's necessarily if Alabama loses and all of a sudden Miami is going to be right on Notre Dame's tail. I don't think that's for sure. So I would be opposite Brad there. Again, it's a human committee. Anything can happen, but I don't think we went through this whole process for them to boot Notre Dame on the final. Nothing really changes from last week. Notre Dame was ranked ahead of Miami. I don't see a change happening there. So,
all right, Austin, appreciate your insight, appreciate your knowledge, and you have a tough task ahead of you before we talk next week. All the best with the voting on the award, and anyways, we'll chat next week. Appreciate you joining us. Talk soon.
Yep, thanks for having me, Jason. I appreciate it. Have a good one. Awesome
stuff there from Austin. You can catch him on the Thursday Best Bet show. Which will be next week.
Well, it was yesterday, so
but no,
watch that one.
We watched one, yeah. But I mean, I think you can go bug him about who he maybe don't bug him about who he voted for because he's not going to tell you. But he'll probably have his Heisman vote in by then, by the time of the show. And I don't even know what day. I gotta check my calendar to see what date it is. It might have already announced it. I don't think they will though. I think it's
when do the awards? When do they actually? When is the awards ceremony?
I believe it's December 13th, and I think is that next Friday.
That would
next
be
Saturday.
Next Saturday.
Okay, next Saturday then. So yeah, it'll be right before. So you can go bug Austin if you want. Anyways, all right. He's been waiting for long enough. Let's bring him up. He's your favorite Greek on this channel. Yes, that's favorite, better than GRP. George, our favorite George. George, how's it going, my friend? George Tsilfidis.
I'm doing well, Jason. I love how obsessed you are about the Heisman. It's fucking excellent.
Oh, I feel like this should be the biggest conversation in all of college football. How much can you talk about these conference football games that have pretty efficient lines? There's 8 games on the college football slate this weekend, maybe 10. There's not the 50 games that we're normally used to. All these lines are bet into place. There's nothing really more movement that we can see. So what else is there to talk about in college football?
I have no financial investment, but I am rooting for Pavia.
Why?
I want the meltdown. I have to be honest with you.
I'm not gonna. Why would I melt down? Why would I melt down?
Yeah, you've been totally sane and rational this whole time. Why would there be a meltdown?
What did Austin just say? If you could read tea leaves, you would think that the guy, a pretty smart college football guy, kind of agrees with me.
Well, let's see what happens.
There we go. There we go.
I'm rooting for a 6-3 shit fest in Indiana, Ohio State, because I want the chaos.
So this is part of the reason why I don't understand the Pavia love. You can bet that at a way better price than you're getting Pavia right now. So, you can click, George. You're more than welcome to click.
I've got a free. I'm free rolling on a meltdown.
Or I get to celebrate. You're not even factoring in the fact that I
nobody wants to see Jason celebrate.
I'm not gonna.
We're here for the meltdown.
I have a significant amount on Satan to win the Heisman. So there's you want me to lose money is what you're saying.
Yes. I want to see the meltdown.
All right. Well, anyways, let's get into things for today.
Hold on, before we even start. Alex Moretto has fucked us again. You know that?
Why?
Do you remember the week he made us go early, cost us Survivor because we took the Rams on the Thursday game? Yep. Well, if I was in my first leadoff spot, the first leg of our Underdog Parlay was great because I was also banking on the Daniels news and getting a great Washington is going to close the favorite now, and we would have locked it in as an underdog leg. But Moretto, I think he suspected that, and he switched me to the 3-hole so that I could lose one of our legs before it even kicked off.
That's he wanted to be ahead of the market here. That was his
He
his
took
idea.
he took what we did. He bet it.
Yeah.
Pushed me to the third leg so nobody else could get it. So so it wasn't enough that he got to bet it. He didn't want any of our audience to get it either.
Wow. What a scumbag.
He
seems like he's able to do all this stuff. He also said he was going to cover for Friday on the Hit the Book show. Then he messaged me. He's like, I can't today. Can you cover for me when I'm supposed to cover? It's
how about this? He tells Goon, come down to the studio, lunch on me.
No, come on.
And then Alex pulls the I can't show up. So he sticks me with the tab. You know?
I didn't know about that. That is absurd. That is absurd.
What a scumbag, man.
Scumbag Moretto is.
Oh my God. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff all around. Let's talk about some football though. Before we get into the Underdog Parlay, we got some recent news here. Seems like Kyler Murray is done for the year. I want to put a bounty out. It's gonna be a $50 bounty, Canadian, on if anyone can find Kyler Murray's Call of Duty account. Because I want to see his game, how much he's playing that game over
hours
there.
Played.
Yeah, I want to see his hours played because done for the year, and it seems like him and the Cardinals are probably done for good. Either one of him or Petzig had to go. Cardinals made the decision, and I think it might be the right decision with how good Brissett has looked, or how competent this offense has looked without Kyler Murray. What's your opinion on the Kyler Murray fiasco? What teams do you think are front runners to try and get him in 2026?
It has to be a team that thinks that their roster's close, but they don't have the right guy yet, and they're too high in the draft to get a quarterback, like they're picking in the middle rounds. Like the Jets will not take Kyler Murray. They have too much draft capital. They're looking towards the future. The only two teams that I think make sense that fit the profile, because I don't think he's going to have a robust market. Like even the Raiders, I don't think they're going to do another rehash. They tried it with Geno. They're drafting a QB. It feels like the only two options are the Pittsburgh Steelers with their aging roster, having to make this move because the Rodgers stuff is a bust, or the Carolina Panthers. But I've heard that they're going to pick up the 5th-year option on Bryce Young. And it kind of brings me back to it. It only is Pittsburgh. I can't think of another team that's kind of middle range that needs a quarterback.
Can I throw a name out there?
Sure.
Are we sure the Minnesota Vikings are attached to JJ McCarthy? Are we certain about that?
I don't think they are. I just don't think that they can afford another $45 million mistake. I think Mac Jones profiles as a better option for them. Someone to compete with McCarthy. The problem with Kyler is he comes with a massive contract.
Interesting. I'm just trying to look through the teams and like consider it Browns in the same spot where one they're not like it doesn't make sense for them.
They're going to draft. They got 2 first rounders. They have the capital to get a quarterback. There's no spots like that really. I mean, Broncos, if like Bo Nix absolutely sucks, but I don't think Sean Payton's dumb enough to want a $43 million bad quarterback on his roster.
Yeah, I wonder if he just goes to because I was going to say I wonder if he goes to a team as a backup, but he can't even do that because of the cost that is attached to him. Falcons, if Penix isn't back and able and healthy next year, but again,
they have the Cousins disaster. I don't think they want another debacle. It's literally Pittsburgh, right?
So Miami can't afford it either because of Tua.
Miami wouldn't want Kyler. The roster's not close.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh's the only technical roster that's close, right? Carolina's close, but I don't know. It feels like they just want Bryce Young. Although I think Kyler might be interesting there.
Interesting. All right. Well, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. I actually just dumped Kyler in my dynasty league, so that was great for me. Pat on the back. Any other news to get into here? Chosen Sports in the chat is saying Dolphins, and he's also saying that Alex actually saved us because he thinks that Washington will lose this game. Maybe. Market disagrees.
Like, listen, they flipped from like a 1.5 point underdog to like a 1.5 point favorite. It's not like it was a gigantic move.
Yeah. Listen, I've stood in front of the market before I was wrong. Stood in front of the market before I was right. We'll have to just wait and see until the game is played. Let's go with the Underdog Parlay.
Yes.
We wanted Washington here. We're going to have to replace them. What team are you replacing Washington for? as the first leg of our underdog money line parlay.
Let's go with the New York Jets money line against the Miami Dolphins. The storyline obviously is going to be the temperature. Tua has never won a game in below 40-degree temperature. The Hawaiian does not like elements. His noodle arm gets really, really exposed. The truth is, so Miami's kind of been running the ball really well lately, and everybody's like, oh, they were back, and Devon Chain, and it all looks good. But, like, you ran the ball against Atlanta's run defense, which is bad. Baltimore's run defense, which is bad. Buffalo's run defense, which is bad. And the Commanders' run defense, which is bad. The Jets are a far better defense. They have the widest skew of, like, what their defensive EPA is versus their defensive success rate. They've just had a fluky bad year of not generating turnovers. They have 1 turnover generated this year. The next closest team has got 6. The fact that they are that big of a gap to the next worst team is incredible. The truth is, I don't know if Breece Hall's going to get the run going because Miami actually does have a good run defense. It just feels like, Jason, this is an under game in elements. The one aspect I like, Tyrod Taylor has been willing to throw it, and Adonai Mitchell has been fantastic. Everybody who's ever watched preseason and seen this guy cook and the way he runs routes has been waiting for this breakout, and hallelujah, it's arrived.
Well, we saw glimpses there before he, like, mere seconds before he dropped the ball before entering the end zone, then basically got his Indianapolis Colts career cut super, super short, and then cut from or traded from the team. Always had flashes there. Was relatively touted coming out of college, but wasn't able to put the piece together. Had drop issues, but perfect spot for him to kind of rebrand himself, build himself towards being a better receiver and maybe a good receiver in the NFL. You can get the Jets right now on FanDuel at +130, which is the first leg of our underdog money line parlay. The second leg of our underdog money line parlay will come in the Sunday night football game. Wow.
My favorite leg for sure. Was my double hammer, Houston with the points, but I think Houston can win this game, and probably I don't want to say they're going to, but I think it'll come down to within a field goal either way. The truth is, I think the Chiefs are being underrated now, oddly enough. They are 1-6 in one-score games, Jason. 5-0 in games decided by 2 scores or more. They have a +73 point differential, despite being 6-6. 3rd in EPA per play, 5th in success rate. The problem is they are going to be without left tackle. Josh Simmons is already out. It looks like Jawan Taylor, the right tackle, is going to be out. The right guard, Trey Smith, is going to be out. Huge problems. They get a Houston defense that's, like, fantastic. One of the best D-lines in football, led, of course, by Will Anderson Jr., but he's not the only guy that wreaks havoc there. I don't know if you know this, but Derek Stingley, you know how we always talk about, is Patrick Surtain the best corner in the league? Is it Sauce Gardner? Maybe it's just Derek Stingley. The last 6 games per Next Gen Stats, he's allowed 5 catches on 19 targets for 57 yards total. He didn't allow a single yard against the Colts last week. He's been fantastic. Jalen Petrie is an incredible slot corner. Remember how we bet the Khalil Shakir, the alts, because Stingley was out, Petrie was out? Well, he's going to be playing, and I think Rashee Rice might have some difficulty. The real talk is, like, Spags likes to send the blitz right now. 7th, a 3rd heaviest blitz team. But Jason, they're bottom 5 in defensive metrics when they send the blitz. The blitz has not gotten there, and the corners are not as good in the past. Stroud has been a good blitz beater this year. You know, when the Houston O-line stabilized, when they decided Trent Brown's going to play right tackle, and they kicked in Titus Howard to left guard, and it kind of just stabilized the interior O-line, and Trent Brown has been more than fine at right tackle. I think it's a truly 50-50 coin flip game, and I think Houston's very live for the win.
All right, Houston +156 on the money line against the Chiefs. Ernie in the chat's from Kansas City, but he really would like them to miss the playoffs here. It seems like he's financially invested, and this would be the perfect game for them to lose, to help him on that quest to have the Chiefs miss the playoffs, which would be crazy to think about.
Mahomes has never not played in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah,
this is a guy who has been in the Final Four every year. He's been the starter. To miss the playoffs is a giant step.
Yeah. again, like I said, the biggest indicator of quarterback decline is new set of headlights anyways. Los Angeles Chargers, Philadelphia Eagles is the last leg of the underdog money line parlay. Plus 120 right now on the money line.
Jason, wrong team is favored.
Okay, give it to me. I love it.
Absolutely. Justin Herbert is going to play.
Okay.
I still worry about how he's going to hand the ball off. Like if he's got to play mostly out of shotgun, because listen, if you got to cast on the left hand, you want to run to the right, you can't really hand it with your left. You know, some quarterbacks give the backhand handoff. I think they're going to be in shotgun a lot of quick pass game. The truth is the Jalen Carter injury changed how I felt about the Chargers O-line against the Eagles D-line. Not that like there's still going to be pressure, but I was worried that the Chargers interior O-line being the worst in the league, I thought that Jalen Carter was going to wreak havoc. He pops up out of nowhere with double shoulder injury. And then, of course, Lane Johnson being out. If I told you this year that the Chargers have been the 6th best defense in EPA per play and success rate, you wouldn't believe it. They're playing at a very high level. They're ever since they traded for Odafe Owe and got Khalil Mack back, they've been fantastic at generating a pass rush. But truly the biggest mismatch in this game, because I don't trust Philly's offense, is Kevin Patullo, the offense coordinator of Philly, versus Jesse Minter, the defensive coordinator for the LA Chargers. I don't know, like if you could not move the ball against a bad Chicago defense, I don't know how you move the ball against a good Chargers defense.
Yeah, no, I think you nailed this one. I've been down on this Eagles team for a little bit now. Like the Bears against them. Talked about it on that Friday live watch along there, and we saw the Bears pull out a win, and maybe, I think like you mentioned here, Justin Herbert's gonna be fine. We'll see how they are able to run the football against.
I don't know if he'll be fine, but he's gonna play.
He'll play, and that's pretty massive compared to Trey Lance, who would be in instead. You can find those all together on FanDuel. Get 11 plus 1,195, or roughly 12-1, just under 12-1 here on FanDuel. George, appreciate you joining the show. We'll chat soon.
Have a good weekend, Jason.
Awesome. You too, George. Appreciate it. Quickly, before we head out here, do us a favor. Smash the like button. Goes a long way here on the channel. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Before you head out, don't forget, World Cup draw is happening in like a couple seconds.
Right now. They've started the drawing the host nation groups.
Sheesh. Well,
but then now there's like a music performance. So,
what did Canada do? We draw anything yet? Or
no. It's only they only have the group. What group? Mexico, Canada, USA are in. They're gonna. I think 1:15 they'll start drawing the teams.
What group are we?
I think B. We are in.
All right.
I'm listening to volume. I'm watching the volume. So anyway,
let's close this out then. Let's go
around the hammer before
Group
quickly
B.
before you go.
Around the hammer. Today, 5 p.m. Eastern time.
Morning.
Books. This morning, circle back. I missed that. Sorry.
It was actually, I know I say it was always a great episode, but the dialogue was really good this week. A lot of diverse opinions on some very interesting topics.
Well,
so
there was a pretty big topic in the Twitterverse about former member of the show.
That was the opening topic.
Okay, it's interesting. I hope he deleted his tweets. That's all I'll say. That's all. From like, let's call it months ago.
It didn't come up on the show, but it was in the back of my mind.
Yeah. I'm shocked you didn't bring that up.
Yeah.
Anyways, it is.
Don't want to bury the guy.
Yeah, no, of course. You know what? I love Flop. I think he's a good guy.
It was a good show though. Check it out. And like you said, 5 p.m. tonight. Hit the books.
All right, 5 p.m. tonight.
Championship week. That is a huge show you're not going to want to miss. So
yes.
Links in the description for all the channels we have in the network.
Also tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern time, myself and Hitman will be live doing the prop show. So you're going to want to tune into that as well. Anyways, that wraps up for us here today. Appreciate you guys tuning in. One more time, hit the like button on the way out. It takes 2 seconds, and it goes such a long way for us here on the channel. This has been the Friday, December 5th edition of the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by FanDuel. We will see you guys right here next week.